All right, so now that we have generated some awareness and engagement, we need to turn this awareness and this engagement into something tangible, into an asset that we as marketers can use for the long haul. In other words, we need to get them to subscribe. So we generated that awareness generally through some type of paid advertising. Remember Google, Facebook. Maybe though you're just a stud or studess at search, and so you're rocking a lot of search. Now we learned how to leverage content to generate more engagement. We talked about answering some questions, things like that. Now it is time to get them to subscribe. And why do we want to get them to subscribe? It's simple. If we get them to subscribe, we have the ability to follow up later on. Very, very rarely, very rarely will the sale occur on that first visit. Okay? If you want this relationship to last, if you want it to grow, if you want to have the ability to nurture it, then you need the ability to follow up. So what this stage is all about is how do you offer something of value in exchange for their contact information and permission to follow up, all right? How do you do that? So question number 3, what we're asking, what valuable chunk of content can we offer in exchange for their contact information and permission to follow up? That's the big question that we're asking now. What's important is that it needs to be pretty good, because in the previous stage, we gave them some good content. Right? We gave them some really good content, like a valuable post, valuable video. So now we need to up our game a little bit. All right. We need to up level the content, up level the value. Right? Along the way, we're providing value, they're providing value in exchange. Right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Now the general tool that we talk about, the asset, the resource that we talk about that we're going to be offering, this chunk of content that we're offering in exchange, the word that we use to describe that is a lead magnet. Okay, a lead magnet is simply a chunk of content, a chunk of value that is offered in exchange for their contact information. So a lead magnet could be a downloadable report. A lead magnet could be a tool, a template, a checklist, a handout, worksheet. It could be a quiz, survey. Maybe they're registering for a contest, right? So the ability to win something, that in and of itself is a lead magnet. It could also be a gated video series, right? A mini class. Somebody is opting in to get access to more premium video content, and it could be a webinar registration, right? So if you think about if you've ever gone and registered for a webinar, and you probably have, that webinar was a lead magnet, okay? So all of these things are different types of lead magnets. These are what the tools that marketers generally use to get people to give them their contact information. So I just kind of want to cover each one of these one at a time. In our email certification, email mastery, we go into more depth on lead magnets and landing pages. Again, this is just a broad overview, top of the T. I want you to generally understand the tools that you have as a marketer to go out there and acquire more subscribers, to acquire more leads. So let's talk about downloadable reports. Easiest one of all, generally they're going to be done in PDF format. So this is one of ours, landing page, get the content marketing hiring guide. So if you're going to hire a content marketer, you can opt in and get this Hire Right complete hiring kit, recruiting, selecting. It has a job post template, everything that you would, interview questions, literally everything that you would need in it if you were going to hire a content marketer. Now, why would we offer this type of lead magnet? Well, it's really simple. We also offer training and certification on content marketing. So once somebody has downloaded this hiring guide for content marketing, it's very easy for us to follow up and say, hey, I can't help but notice that you just downloaded our hiring guide for content marketing. I'm guessing that means you're going to be hiring a content marketer. If you're going to be hiring a content marketer, would you like to leverage some of our tools and training to train up this content marketer once you have them? Okay, so it's not just about getting the lead, right? We really want these lead magnets to also inform the conversation, right? So we're going to get the lead, but we want that to inform the next level of the conversation. So the topic of the lead magnet is really, really, really important, right? You don't just want to and this is where you see if you've ever been to, a shopping mall or a restaurant, and there's like some fishbowl there where it's, win something stupid that you don't really win a gym membership, put in a business card, right? A bunch of people putting in their business card. There's no relationship there. The fact that somebody put their business card in doesn't mean, it doesn't actually inform the next level of the conversation. It doesn't inform what they actually want, other than the fact that they would just kind of like to get something for free. All right. So even when we think about contests, we want to make sure that it informs what they ultimately want. All right. So just keep that in mind. Spending a little bit of time here, we're going to talk about that throughout. Here's another example. This company here, ThriveHive, small business marketing plans, 6 marketing plan examples to fit your small business. Now, obviously, if somebody is downloading this particular small business marketing plan, they're a small business who wants to do more marketing. So whether this company is an agency or they do other type of marketing work, they know that they're dealing with a small business who wants to do marketing, right? Because why else would you download small business marketing plans if you didn't want to market a small business, right? Again, seems obvious, but it informs intent. Ooma Office, get the free buyer's guide and learn how the highest rated small business phone provider could save you more than $10,000. So in this case, the offering is a buyer's guide. So if you're a small business and you're looking at getting a phone service, they have a buyer's guide for that. Now, this particular lead magnet, not very compelling, not very sexy. Most people don't just scour the internet going, I'm really bored today. It's Saturday and it's raining outside. I think I would see if I can stumble across a phone service buying guide. That'd be a fun read. No, nobody wants that. So what we're talking about here is a lead magnet that is going to be lower in conversion rates, but pretty high in quality. If you are downloading a buyer's guide for small business phone service, really good chance you want to buy small business phone service. Now, I know I'm kind of repeating myself to the point where it almost probably sounds like I'm being pejorative or making fun or like I think you're dumb. I don't. I just want to get across the point that merely capturing a lead is not enough. You need to capture a lead using bait, using a lead magnet that will inform where they want to go next. And more times than not, quality is better than quantity. It's not just about getting a whole lot of leads. If they don't know who you are and they don't care who you are and you have no idea what they actually want, remember the transformation, less desirable before, more desirable after? This should, when they're raising their hand saying, I want this, it should inform where they want to go, which should really allow you to pick up that conversation, okay? Here's one for Lonely Planet. Download our free ebook and discover the hottest new travel experiences. Good chance if somebody is downloading an ebook on travel experiences that they want to travel. Well, that's good to know if you're a travel site, right? This particular one was for 2016, right? Obviously, that was a few years ago. They could go back and update this year after year after year, keep it relevant, and they're always going to find out who's looking at traveling this next year. They just downloaded a travel guide. Now, maybe they're just dreaming. Maybe they're just hoping and thinking. But if I have no intention of traveling, good chance I'm not going to download an ebook on the hottest travel experiences for this coming year. Here's another one. Cord blood banking. Have you considered banking your baby's cord blood? The benefits may surprise you. Get your cord blood banking info kit. Now again, low conversion rate. Very, very, very low conversion rate. If you don't have, if you're not about to have a baby and you're not considering banking their cord blood, which if you don't know what cord blood is, Google it, this is going to have no interest to you whatsoever. So they're going out there and they're just trying to find a sliver of the market. Now, if you're going to go this narrow, you better be good on your targeting, right? So that's when we get into ad buying and awareness. You better make sure that you're talking to, prospective parents who are the right age. When I saw this ad, we just happened to have a baby on the way. So kind of makes sense. This ad, if it were to, show to me today, wouldn't be overly effective because no kids coming anytime soon. But again, in this case, low conversion rate, ultra high quality, not a very sexy lead magnet title. You got to kind of put a little bit of a balance there. Now, I talk about this kind of category as being downloadable reports, a PDF. It doesn't always have to be downloadable. We ran one years and years and years ago that was about vertical gardening. So we were in the gardening, home, outdoor space. This one was grow enough food to feed a family of 4 in just 4 square feet of space, even if you don't have a yard. When you opted in, it wasn't actually a PDF. It just went the next page. It essentially opted you in for what was really at the time more or less a glorified blog post. So very often people say, how do I distinguish between, a blog post or a lead magnet? A lot of times if you have a blog post, a piece of content that's really, really, really popular, you can take it and gate that content. Meaning you could say the only people who can read this moving forward are people who opt in. Lots of media properties do that. I've seen the New York Times do that, the Wall Street Journal, Business Insider. They'll have most of their stories will be, available for people to read. But if one of them really hits and it becomes very popular, they'll gate it and say, nope, you got to be a member, you got to be a subscriber, sign up now. So you can do that as well. Here's another example. This is this is probably one of the very first lead magnets I ever stumbled across in my life. This was before I was married. And it was a little lead magnet on that was in the dating space. And it basically promised the kiss test. Right? How to tell if a girl's ready to be kissed. You don't want to go on a date and, lean in too soon and get slapped, or, not kiss her at all. And now, you're this prude and, she's offended and, you hurt her feelings. Like, how do you know? Like, if you're somebody with no game like me, you might need a little help in this particular area. So in this case, you opted in, and the lead magnet was offered on the very next page. And look, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. Okay? Say all this just to show it's not about the quantity of content. Don't think that just because it's a lead magnet that people are offering this information that you need to just throw a book at them. And in fact, 9 times out of 10, a really long printed PDF is one of the worst things that you could offer because nobody will read it. I mean, think about it for you. How many PDF downloads have you opted in for, downloaded them, and then never read them? Right? It happens all the time. Your desktop's probably a graveyard of unopened PDFs. So don't think about that it needs to be this, heavily formatted, super high quality book-like offering. No. It's about the quality of the content and the quality of the information. It's not about the quantity. So that's what we're thinking about, like downloadable reports, PDFs, things like that. The category that's far more effective that we found, though, is this next one. Tools, templates, checklists, handouts. If you can offer something tangible, so not merely information, our experience, this is going to be the highest converting and get you some of the highest quality of subscribers. So if we think about the engage stage, right? At the engage stage, that's when we're teaching people stuff. That's when we're sharing some basic information, right? If on that, within a blog post or a video, you're now able to say, okay, by the way, we have this worksheet, or we have this tool, or we have this template, or we have this audit that we use to basically facilitate what I just taught you. You can go over here and download it. That upgraded content is really effective here. So I thought this was interesting. Again, this goes all the way back to 2013, but don't let the fact that it's old suggest that it's no longer relevant. Because back in 2013, HubSpot actually published their most downloaded, their most popular content for the year. To my knowledge, they haven't repeated this, okay? But in 2013, they said this was our most popular content. Out of everything that we published, and they published a lot of content, but out of everything they published, the content that was the most popular, check this out. Number 1, templates. Now, number 2, it said free ebooks, but really it was 53 examples of brilliant homepage design. So while they called it an ebook, really it was kind of a swipe file. Really it was just a list of examples. It wasn't a book that you would necessarily read. It was a tool that you could flip through for inspiration, okay? Then when we come down, there was a bunch more. This isn't necessarily in order, but when you got to the bottom of the list, so these were the top 2, when you got to the bottom of the list, number 8 and number 9, guides. Free guide, how to use landing pages for business. What is that? That's a basic how-to. It's a book type thing. Tiny, tiny number of downloads compared to the template, compared to the tool. Similarly, the anatomy of a 5-star email, right? Essentially a how-to type thing. In my experience, this type of information is best for ungated content. It's best for stage 2 content, all right? Just put it out there, let people read it. Then offer the upgraded content that is the tool, more the template, the swipe file, things like that. I'll show you another example for us at Digital Marketer. Marketing scorecard template. All right, so this is a template that marketers can download that will allow them to track basic marketing metrics. And it's got, red light, green light kind of stuff, put it in there. All it is it's a Google Sheet. It's a Google Sheet. There's not an extended blog post. It's here's a template, here's a tool that we use. Very, very popular. Here's another one from debthelper.com, free budget spreadsheet. Again, it's just an Excel spreadsheet. You want to get better at budgeting? Here's a spreadsheet that will get you started. Now, this isn't a long extended ebook on how to budget. People aren't as interested in that. Give me a tool that I can use to actually do the work. Another one of ours, the Facebook ad template library. Yes, it's positioned in book form, but it's popular and people like it because much like HubSpot's 53 examples of homepage design, you're flipping through it for inspiration. You're not reading it like a book. Okay? Shortcuts. People want shortcuts. Your customers want shortcuts. They want the tools that will do the job. They don't merely want to be informed. They don't merely want to learn. We learned this, kind of had an interesting case study back, it's been a long time now, but for a brief period of time, we owned a water filter manufacturing company. And what we found was that the big question that we got, what everybody wanted to know was, what's the wholesale price of this particular filter? So we updated the homepage, and instead of just having the phone number, we said, download the wholesale catalog and price list. We went from getting about 6 new leads a month to getting at least 6 new leads every single day. Why? Because they just wanted the list. They just wanted the list. So we said, here, you can have the list. And as soon as they downloaded the list, guess what? We called them. Okay, we called them. Said, hey, notice you downloaded our wholesale pricing guide. Was there something in particular you were looking for? Okay, so when you're thinking lead magnets, don't merely think more and bigger content. Don't think, okay, well, if the free content, if the ungated content, if the blog post is an article, then I guess I need to give away like a book as a lead magnet. No. It's not about giving more. It's about giving better, more useful, and that's where tools come into play. So this category, we found it's number 1 for us. This is the big winner. Another one that we see a lot of folks doing, this is especially in consumer markets, we see this a lot in e-commerce, quizzes, surveys, and contests. Now, I'll say right at the outset, this is going to produce some of the lower quality leads and subscribers that you're going to get, right? So if you're doing a contest on something, then obviously you're going to get a lot of people who are entering the contest just because they want something free. But if you can learn to do it the right way by executing a quiz type strategy, it can be incredibly effective. And I got to give credit where credit is due. So Ryan Levesque, who's a friend of mine, a friend of Digital Marketers, he's one of our faculty members. He actually did an entire workshop, an entire course for our members. And so we'll make sure to link to it somewhere in and around here to where you can access that. Because if you want to do quizzes the right way to generate leads, he really is the master. He also published this book, Ask, that is a book on the subject. So great book that you can go and buy if you really want to go deep into how to build out quiz funnels. And then he also produced a workshop that our members have access to as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, Ryan Levesque was the brains behind this particular funnel here. This was a funnel, a quiz funnel in the golf space. It simply asked golfers a series of questions. And then the opt-in was, we'll send you your results. So quizzes can be really effective because people start answering the questions, and then the opt-in is, we'll send you the results, right? And once you've gone through the process of filling it out, you want those results. This was the cornerstone of what was a very, very, very successful business that was ultimately acquired by the Golf Channel and NBC Universal. So don't think that this simple little strategy can't grow and build a really, really, really big business, especially in consumer markets. This is my buddy Noah Kagan, who runs a website called AppSumo. AppSumo built a significant chunk of their list around software giveaways. So they would give away, a lifetime access to Evernote. Now, here's the important thing. If you're going to do a contest, make sure that the prize is something that would really only be interesting to your market. Okay? So if you're giving away a car, or, an electric scooter, who wants that? Well, just about anybody would want that. Now, giving away a subscription to a piece of business software, well, that's probably the kind of thing that startups would be interested in, which is who he was catering to. Similarly, we had a business in the DIY space, in the sewing space. We ran a contest where we gave away a sewing machine. Now, there's lots of people who want free stuff, but I know for me, I'd never really enter a contest to win a sewing machine. I don't sew. My wife would, though. She does sew. So again, if you're going to go the contest route, make sure that whatever prize you offer, that prize is the kind of prize that would really only be interesting to your ideal market. Again, quality, not necessarily quantity. Also, if you're going to run a contest, there's a lot of laws in and around them in different states and jurisdictions, so just make sure that you're following those. My recommendation, I would avoid this category as a whole. I'm mentioning it because people talk about it. I'm mentioning it because it is a fairly common strategy. This is pretty advanced. I probably wouldn't start here. If you do, start on the quiz more than on the contest, but I'd refer you back to the previous section where we talked about tools. Now, another group that could be a really good one, especially if you're selling higher ticket stuff, video training and case studies. So we, for example, have this video training that we did. People would opt in for this comprehensive, multi-part video series on how to build a modern marketing team. So they opted in and then went over to a page where I stood in a room much like this, wearing an outfit much like I'm wearing right now. This is a bit awkward, but it was in this thing where people watched the video and then they were able to, talk to us if they wanted help, building their marketing team and training their marketing team. Okay. So they opted in for premium gated video content, and it was really set up as a course, right? So we've got, handouts and worksheets and all that, really high value stuff. A good friend of mine, Donald Miller, he's got a similar setup here. He's got the 5-minute marketing makeover. It's a 3-part video series. You opt in. It takes you over to a page where you can, watch it. And then, of course, he's selling his training, his StoryBrand training on the back, right? Which is a phenomenal training, by the way. Highly recommend it. So this is kind of, if you're familiar with the traditional, Jeff Walker style launch or a product launch formula, this idea of somebody opting in to watch a, 1-part or a 3-part video series, fairly common in selling higher ticket items. I've even known somebody who did this with surfboards. So sold custom surfboards, had people opt in to get some surfing videos, and then showed how some of the tricks he was only able to do on his custom surfboard, or if you have a custom surfboard. Here's another example. These ladies right here run a 30-day green smoothie challenge, and the idea is you're opting in for videos and recipes that you can watch and consume during the 30-day challenge. So I like it. It's a multi-part video series spread out over 30 days, but it's built into a challenge. Pretty cool idea, right? Now, the downside to this type of content is the consumption, because it is longer, is going to be fairly low. All right. So if people really need to watch this to move on to the next level, you should know that you're going to have a fair bit of fall off. A lot of people just aren't going to stick around to watch it. Now, along this same kind of vein, in the same category, are webinars, and mini classes. So what I like about a webinar is people register, they show up, and now, they're watching it right there in real time. So we've done these before. We've talked about, Facebook ad targeting things. And of course, for these, we have offered our customer acquisition specialist training. We also did a webinar on how to structure and build a modern digital marketing team. Again, similar to the, what we've been talking about all throughout with lead magnets, this is not a particularly sexy title. It's not a webinar subject that's just going to get droves and droves of people to sign up for it. We're not talking about, how to generate tens of thousands of leads and millions of dollars overnight, which wouldn't do that anyway. But in this particular idea, it's how to structure and build a modern digital marketing team. The only people who are going to register and attend this webinar are people who are interested in structuring and building a modern marketing team, which is exactly the target market that we have for our higher end HQ offering, where we're actually doing bespoke team training, right? So it's not about getting as many, it's about getting the right. It's not about getting a lot, it's about getting the right types of subscribers. But, webinars, these can be very, very impactful as well. People are consuming in real time. The downside to webinars is they've been used a lot, especially in B2B. They've been used a lot. And so the show up rate for webinars, it used to be 50 to 60%. Now it's 20 to 30% of the people who actually register show up. As with a lot of things in marketing, as it gets used again and again and again, it becomes less effective. But don't rule out webinars. They are still very effective. And when somebody registers for a webinar, they have high intent. And generally, they're going to be a pretty good lead for you. Kind of another category that is really effective, especially if you're in e-commerce, if you're in some type of retail, are coupons and discount codes. Now, I've heard this a lot. Somebody say, "Oh, I've got a Shopify store. I've got an Amazon. I've got an Amazon business. We sell shoes or we sell, fancy razors. I'm not going to do a mini class on that, or I'm not going to do a webinar about that necessarily. Although you could, don't completely write it off. But some people are like, there's not really a tool or something like that I could use. What should I do? What works for me? And the one that I've seen work time and time and time again is having people opt in to get a discount code. So a buddy of mine, Ezra Firestone, another member of the Digital Marketer faculty, he produced Digital Marketer certification on e-commerce mastery. So if you have an e-commerce store, you might want to check that one out. He's famous for coming up with these little offers. Join the discount club, save 5%. And it's people opting in, and when they opt in, they get a discount coupon. So often, I'll see stores just say, here's a discount, and they're not getting anything for that discount. If you're going to offer a discount, that's value. Get something in value in exchange. A couple years back, Kate Spade, who, I know my wife is definitely a fan of the brand. They put out, they had a Black Friday sale, and it was a surprise sale, Black Friday edition, 75% off. But when you clicked on the link, it didn't just take you to a page that had all their stuff, for sale. It took you to another page where you need to opt in to enter the sale. Okay, so they didn't just say, we're running a sale, click on it and go to the page. No. When you clicked on it, they took you to a page where you opted in to enter the sale. You opted in to get the discount coupon to then be able to go and use it. Coupon codes, discount codes are a great lead magnet for retail companies, for e-commerce companies. Definitely it's something you should leverage if you are in that space. Now, where I really want to kind of wrap this section up and what I want to leave you with as you move forward is this idea. Be specific. When it comes to your lead magnets, be specific. People love specificity. Don't make broad generalities. Don't promise a book on how to do something or other. Be as specific as you can. I'll give you an example. We had a lead magnet that we're putting out there, a downloadable report type thing. You've actually already seen it. The original title of this was Growing Up, the Ins and Outs of Up and Down Gardening. It was a special report on how to do vertical gardening, right? So get it? Vertical gardening, like the idea of I'm going to garden in a small space, build everything up vertically. So growing up, the ins and outs of up and down gardening. Get it? Get it? Kind of funny, right? Super clever. We were really proud of it. Guess what? Nobody opted in for that thing because they didn't get it. Again, we opted for clarity over specificity. When we changed the title to, and again, you've seen this one, How to Feed a Family of 4 in Just 4 square feet of space, even if you don't have a yard, opt-ins went through the roof. Be specific, okay? Be specific. This is what we crave. We don't like ambiguity. We like clarity. So make a specific promise. Give a specific example if it's a case study. Offer a specific shortcut. Answer a specific question. Deliver a specific discount. If you will come up with lead magnets that are specific in their promise, specific in their offering and in their deliverable, if you'll come up with lead magnets that don't merely generate a heavy quantity of leads, but generate the right type of leads, then you will have fully optimized stage 3, which is the subscribe stage.